You were just passing over, I think, Coronation Drive before. That was covered completely. I'm not sure. I'm sure you've actually seen the shots of that over the last 24 hours. Am I right in saying that is Coronation Drive? Just correct me before I keep talking.
No, Wendy, you're right. That is Coronation Drive, though it's a little hard to tell right now. But that white roof that we just saw peeking out is that was the old Oxley's. We now call it the Drift restaurant.
The Drift.
But we saw it almost lose its moorings as well. So we're looking at around about sort of Milton and Coro Drive there, and it's just, it's an absolute torrent of water there, where you can see we're creeping into Rosalie and Milton there as well. It's just so widespread. It
really gives you an idea of just how far back the water is. It hasn't just lapped over Coronation Drive and those sort of areas. It's gone back, hundreds of metres. I guess on the upside though, Melissa, it is good to see the water is obviously going down in places, because Coronation Drive, as we mentioned, was covered yesterday. At least that is a little good news, that in some parts of the CBD the water is starting to shift.
Yeah, that's right, Wendy. It's slowly going down upstream and it's working its way down, ever so slowly. But, we do need a little bit of relief right now. But, it's just going to be such a big recovery mission to come back from this. But if there's anything Queenslanders do best, it's bounce back. That's one thing. But this river it's been sitting steady all morning, I'm told. And so, we are seeing it go down. But I mean, it's going to take at least 3 or 4 days until we can really see the devastation underneath. I guess all that water's hiding some terrible, terrible things right now. So fingers crossed that it does start dropping even more.
You've got apartment blocks along there, you've got your art centre. These are buildings that, without doubt, have been waterlogged over the past 24 hours. And as you said, we're going to see a lot of damage to a lot of buildings that Brisbane Knights are very proud of there.
Oh yeah, it's heartbreaking to see these buildings, which really do, I guess, they're at the heart of Brisbane CBD. Like you say, we've got the State Library, we've got the Gallery of Modern Art, and you've got to think that there will be, thousands, tens of thousands, and across the CBD, millions of dollars of damage to these buildings, and they are tourist attractions in Brisbane, and to recover what's been damaged down there will take some time. You can see that's right. We're just looking at South Bank now, and there's some of those major buildings along the river there, and it's crept in, and who knows what's inside, and I'm sure that there'll be some heartbreaking scenes in the next few days as people get in and look at that damage.
Just flying over the city for the last few minutes, there are no cars at all. Is that what your experience has been, just sort of prior to us crossing to you? There's just a few, but really not a whole lot of movement in the CBD. So obviously people have heeded to the warnings and they've got out.
Yeah, they have, Wendy. They've certainly been listening to all of those warnings. But yeah, it really is a ghost town. You can see there are a few cars just hopping onto the Pacific motorway. But as for the CBD, it really is a ghost town. There's no one there, and we saw thousands of people evacuated a couple of days ago, and there's just it's eerie to see the city in lockdown mode. It really is. It's easy to see that something terrible's happened to the city of Brisbane.
Yeah, you see, your major hotels that are normally full, that are banked onto the Brisbane River, to the Botanic Gardens, right now would be absolutely empty. And at this stage, no word on when people will start flowing back into the city, whether or not they can over the next few days. It could even be another week, 2 weeks before some of those businesses there that have been affected can really get back on their feet and start cleaning up.
Yeah, that's right, Wendy. I mean, this is the Riverside.
That's where they hold the markets. There'd be no markets there, in the near future, would there?
No, absolutely not. And those markets are well and truly a tourist attraction, as you know, Wendy. They're great, but they'll it will be some time before they get back on their feet, and that wider shot there gives you a better idea of that's the riverside along there, and the Story Bridge is sort of to the right of that screen. So usually that is just a hive of activity. There we go, there's the Story Bridge along there, and look at that, there's a few cars sort of speckled, but it's pretty much abandoned right now. That's the river that creeps in underneath it. You've got, you know, you have got a few boats on the river, but most of those are police, and they're just patrolling up and down, making sure that there aren't any more dangers looming along this river. We've seen a lot of boats, actually. You know, it's an incredible sight to see police, you know, just powering down the river, you know, even through traffic lights when we get into the outer suburbs. It really is something else. But Brisbane today is well and truly ever so eerie. Wendy?
You've still got, right across the state, but particularly in Brisbane, you've got about 118,000 people still without power, and I can't imagine anytime soon that will change. Obviously, we know Energex is trying desperately to fix the situation, but I mean, still seeing, we saw the peak, obviously, and the water is going to go down thanks to the wonderful work of the experts with the Wivenhoe Dam. But power, your general services like your rubbish, your garbage collection, that's just not going to happen anytime soon.
No, I guess everything has really come to an absolute a standstill. You know, life goes on, but it is pretty tough right now, as you say, you know, even down to the smallest things of rubbish, you know, but, you know, over the next few days, that's going to become a real problem, and with no power, you know, that's going to throw a lot of people, obviously they're you know, in darkness at night, I mean, but during the day, you know, just doing everyday things, people just can't do it, you know, and I guess no one is working in the CBD at the moment, so they're at home and just trying to and do whatever they can. But, you know, the cleanup from this is going to be huge, but it's definitely having such a toll on these people. I mean, across Queensland, we've now got, you know, more than 45,000 people evacuated, and I guess, you know, they've got water in their homes, but now the people that are left in their homes, you know, they're having a pretty tough time. It's truly not life as they know it, but thankfully I'm sure a lot of these Queenslanders can see that they'll bounce back and be even stronger.